important, and 3 we have across the county, specifically my ward here, Liboy. Because here, as you know, Liboy is the borderline between Garissa, between Kenya and Somalia, and we are the gateway where the refugees come through. The refugees come through directly from Liboy, and they're hosted in the refugee camp, that's the depth. But we are not getting any benefit.
The continued process has really converted an otherwise green area into a desert. And so soon, if we don't take an action, this will be a vast desert. Yeah, so this we cannot accept. And so, but as the camp manager of the refugee camps, I can take steps to ensure that we curtail the freedom of movement of the refugees into areas where they can cause such damage.
Thank you for that report. Now that brings us to the end of our news program today. We're going to go on a short break, but we're coming back with a topic of discussion, which is the place of the LGBTQ+ community in contemporary society. And joining me later on is none other than Sheikh Rashid Ali Omar. So do not go anywhere.
Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
والذين لا يشهدون الزور وإذا مروا باللغو مروا كراما والذين إذا ذكروا بآيات ربهم لم يخروا عليها صما وعميانا والذين يقولون ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما أولئك يجزون الغرفة بما صبروا ويلقون فيها تحية وسلاما.
Uislamu ni dini yenye mpangilio ulio kamili na taratibu zake humpa fursa kila mja kuifahamu na kuelewa.
Muislamu yoyote lazima achukue jukumu la kuifahamu dini yake, kuanzia kwenye shahada, ashhadu, nakiri kwa moyo,
kisha usafi wa kimwili.
Hapo ndipo huanza safari ya kumwabudu Mola wake.
Usikose kujiunga nasi kila siku ya Jumamosi live kwenye kipindi Ufahamu Uislamu, ili ujifunze mengi usiyojua kutoka Horizon TV.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Horizon TV. And the topic of discussion today is the LGBTQ plus position in our contemporary society. And joining me in studio is none other than the former Deputy Chief Qadi, Sheikh Rashid Ali Omar. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And today we're discussing your research paper. And in the paper, you've talked about, and I know this is something that has been on the news recently of late and also in the past. It's the LGBTQ plus movement and also the ruling from the Supreme Court allowing their groups to register themselves in the country. And I know that you can probably tell us more into detail in the law perspective as well. And I know you already have the Constitution of Kenya with us. And Sheikh, just to start off the conversation, for anyone who's listening to this and probably is thinking what has been going around, probably you could shed light on this issue.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa sallillahumma ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa man walaha ma ba'd. To start or to begin with, the world is now at crossroad. It's at crossroad from the perspective of identifying who is a human being. This issue started, the issue of LGBT is not just, it does not just come around, it is now taken to its zenith. It is highest position. It started long time ago. 1970s is when this thing started, and it started with the human right, which traces its origin to women empowerment, other people's right, and all these things. It went around and come around as if it continues rights of different people and different, because right is a right. And the right for human being has been there. It is a natural right. It is also an inherent right. But putting it into a perspective is what makes a difference. Now, around 1990s is when this LGBT issue came around. And that is when it was even the initials, LGBTQ plus, as actually being coined. Now, being coined, that means it has a legal implication, it has a social implication, it has communal implications, and a lot of also wealth implications. Now, where does it come from? There is what is called right-wing and left-wing ideologies. The left-wing ideologies are the ones who are pressing for equality, for other sexes and all these things. They are the ones who are pushing and financing. Among them are, let us say, these devil worshippers, Freemasons, and Western world as a whole are behind this thing. That is where they are pushing for. And they have to pay, to have to give finance, give money to organizations and the other people so that they come and make, and also influence governments to pass laws.
Yes.
And then they finance the government itself. If you don't do it, you'll be not financed. An example of that one is President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda, yes. Our hero. We call it our hero because he is preserving the African culture.
Yes.
And then we wish all the presidents to be the same. We, as an African people, must be very clear that we cherish this president by being bold. Next to him is Kagame, President Kagame, who does not like the Western perspective of looking into this thing, because he was actually saying the other day, when our people were being butchered, the French military were just here looking at it and been drinking there around. Then you come and tell us, do this is our culture and this thing. This is nonsense and this is your perspective. These are the East African presidents who are our heroes actually. We cherish them and we regard them because they are coming to preserve their civilization. They are coming to preserve their culture. They are coming to preserve their identity, and they are coming to preserve the family unit as it has been enshrined in their constitutions. Like now, Article 45 of the Kenyan Constitution. State's family is the natural and the fundamental unit of a society. It is natural. Therefore, a nature cannot be changed.
Yes.
Then, as it continues, it says that it is the basis for social order. Once this thing is eroded, the family that we know has been eroded, ruptured completely, then the social order will not be there. It is there in our Constitution, Article 45 of the Kenyan Constitution 2010. If that is the case, then what is family? Family is being said that, the article continues saying that somebody can marry a person of opposite sex only.
Sheikh, and just to ask a very important question. When we're looking at our Constitution and you're mentioning that the Constitution states that a marriage is obviously between people of two different genders, and then you have in the same Supreme Court also saying that as much as we're saying this is in the Constitution, we're going to allow their groups. Does that in some sort of way infringe on the Constitution of Kenya?
The whole aspect is playing, law is elastic. And it has got different perspective of theory. If you want to take the theory, that which is favoring you or favoring some communities, you will use the theory. If you don't, unless you are looking, it is just like our fiqh. We have 4 schools of fiqh, which is looking into the law from different perspectives. But what these judges do is that these judges looked into the holistic aspect of Bill of Rights, freedom, and then the human dignity and the equality. This is where they were looking from, hovering around the Bill of Rights. By not looking into the aspects of the law. When you are talking of the law, and especially like these big judges, who are the Supreme Court of Judges, they were supposed to go and look into all aspects. And they will have looked into, will this thing, is it at the interest of the country, first of all? Is it actually compatible to our culture, the African culture? They did not. That is why I said somewhere here, that I just mentioned after I discussed about the issue, I said the authors held that majority decision definitely, that is the judges, opens hell gates abomination, and a devilish behavior in the family institution. That is where what they did it. Institution. Further, they deliberately ignored other possible meanings. They were just hovering around what is sex means and what does gender means, and the inclusiveness. Those are linguistic elements and not legal elements. They went hovering and then they missed it, because today the family as it is, the definition is being changed to include other possible things as they want to the West. That means we have been enslaved in meanings, we have been enslaved in concepts, we are being enslaved by the West. The way, this is a neocolonialism. You have been told to do this, and that is why the northern part of Africa is fighting France and wants to move out. The same thing at one point will happen here in eastern part of the world if these people continues eroding our cultures, eroding our values, eroding our religion, eroding our morality. That is what's going to happen. They can use money, they can use other things, they can exploit us. Like now Article 55. Who are the target of this LGBTQ? The target group are the youth. Yes. If that is the case, what does our Constitution say about the youth? The youth are the most essential parts of this society. And the government must or shall protect them against harmful cultural things, norms. What are these harmful cultural? LGBTQ, lesbianism, homosexualism is a culture which is harm to our youth. That's what we are saying. That's what we are feeling. And then you are imposing and say do it. Teach it in the schools. You are destroying. Here, you are supposed to protect the Constitution as it is. Here, you are bringing something against which they will destroy our youth. Article 55 is very clear, and in the Kenyan Constitution is very clear and telling us. Sorry. Article 55 is just saying the state shall take measures including affirmative action program to ensure that the youth access relevant education and training. Is LGBT a relevant education and training? Education, if you are getting an education, you get the education that will benefit you. Yes. Do we need? We didn't need. Somebody like me, I didn't need it. LGBT, to learn LGBT in the school. Nobody needs it. It is non-relevant, non-essential. Then,
when you talk about relevant education, do you believe that there should be tighter reservations when it comes to the curriculum, what children study in schools?
Yes, that is why I'm saying the curriculum, if any curriculum that does not respect and go according to our natural law and the natural system and our culture, then it is irrelevant. Yes. It should be irrelevant, compatible to our logic, irrelevant, compatible to our nature, irrelevant when it is not compatible. It is relevant. It will be only relevant when it is compatible to our dictate, logic, and the nature. Now, this one is irrelevant. The training must be relevant to what we want, not what others want. Then it continues saying, D, and the youths are protected from harmful cultural practices and exploitation. Yes. They are being exploited with money. There are a lot of money going around by organizations who are being given to carry that task. What is the whole objective about it? The whole objective about this thing of LGBT you are hearing are 5. First of all, they have to destroy the social institutions. Family must be destroyed. Yes. Education must be destroyed. And then after education, you will be used against with a lot of money. Your religion must be destroyed. Yes. And then your economy, health. You see that prolapse. Men here around who are lesbian, I mean who are homosexuals, are moving with divers. They don't know when they are going to pass their pops out or not. This is what is happening. They are not men, no longer. They are another animal that we don't know. They should have another name. And then it is an essential thing that the foundations, social foundations, I said, the foundations of social institutions are 5. Family is the first, and that is the bedrock of the society. That is where also what Article 45, 45 of the Constitution is telling us is the same to that is institution. Sociologically, those are the 5. Once one of it is destroyed, if the family is destroyed, the education will follow also. If the education and the family are destroyed, the health will not be, there is nothing called a health because it is nurtured from education. Then the religion also goes away, which is the spiritual perspective of the well-being of the people. Then once it goes, what remains? The economy will collapse. The economy will collapse because you will not use on your economy. Just somebody who was with me today, carrying me from somewhere, was telling me there are a lot of money going around. The youth are being destroyed. Now, what kind of a youth? If this is the same, the 5 foundations, then we have objective of the Islamic Sharia. There are 5 also. You are also destroying that. The first objective is your life must be protected. Secondly, your dignity and honor and the nasl progeny must be respected. Your religion must be protected. And then your wealth must be protected. The 5, and hifd al-nafs and wal-mali, animal, mal, and then we say aql, your mind, is the 5th one. You see, aql and tahdib, that is educating the children, is within that educational aspect. If you eat, the doctors will tell us, if you eat bad fruits or bad food, you will become sick. If you eat and you are nurtured, you are educated with bad, horrible things that is not known to us, it was not known to anybody. Only one society in the world has actually adopted this thing, Qawm Lut. They are the origins, but none remained from it. They were destroyed. They were carried, the whole Gomorrah and the Sodomy was carried, and then they were being cleared, buried there. If they want the world to be buried, and it is their science, that what is a bushfire, flood, hurricane, what is happening to them is what they are doing. And the main objectives, I say, there are also 5 objectives behind that. The 5 objectives, I said there are 5 fundamental institutions which are to be destroyed. Then there are 5 maqasidul sharia, the objectives and essential of the Islamic Sharia, they want to destroy also. Now, from cultural perspective, they want to change the culture and destroy of the family unit. The definition must be changed. As an instance, Kenya, family being the most important foundation of institution, have up to today no family policy. After you make the policy is when you forward it, and then law is being made. Why? It is curtailed. The ministry, I can remember, I was one of the formulators who formulated that policy. But still, it is in the dust or under the carpet. I don't know what happened. Why? Because the definition, we defined it to be 2, binary. And that is what they don't want. Binary means male and man, girl and a boy. They must be waiting for this situation so that that should not come. And it will be still a war. When we are writing the policy and the law on family, that is the war which is going to come. Change is the structure of the family unit.
To ask you on the family unit, as you're going to mention. The family unit, for those who have kids, for those who are probably parents or married and raising young children, how do you ensure that this does not transfer into your family? How do you ensure that your kids are far away from this as much as possible?
The society is a cohesive element, that which is intertied. It is a unit in Kenya. Before we go to the unit itself downward, I think the first thing is that we should be fighting as a nation. We as Muslims, it is life and death. I have to say, it is life and death. We will not see that these laws come around whatsoever this has. So therefore, that is one thing. The other thing is the Islamic adab, the Islamic teaching, the moral teaching, the cultural teaching, the heritage. You know, when we go and join the naturalist and the cultural traditionalist, they will also support. We should go from cultural perspective, from intellectual perspectives, from Islamic perspective. We should not say this is only Islam. We have to join hands. The Christians, the mainstream Christian religion, like Catholics, are not for it. They don't want it because it is against. Genesis 19 talks against it and how Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. Then I think that is one thing. The other thing also, the nurturing the children at home. The mother is the first school. She has to bring the children in her best way, not forget about it. Women are today going to market, I mean business market and a lot of things, and children are being left alone. We have a dilemma already. If you go to sleep, all the shops belongs to women. And what will happen to the children now at home? We are facing some change because of urbanization.
Yes.
And they should be taught, first of all, when they are the cradle, how to go about and how to behave. May God assist us in that one. The second thing now they want to destroy is the morality and the chasteness. That one will be destroyed. The third thing to be destroyed is the cultural norms and values. As Article 13 of the Constitution talks about the culture, which is the fundamental element of a nation, and the cumulative civilization of Kenya, Article 13. Yes. And the government must promote all cultures, and so as it preserves. There's a division now. We are going away from it and bringing Western cultures. Yes. So it is being destroyed. That is what it's saying. It is the foundation of our nation, the cultures. But now that foundation is being eroded by this LGBT issue, just while the article of our Constitution is talking about. Then the fourth thing is destruction of spiritual and religious well-being. The fifth one is fight population growth. When man marries a man, when a woman, will it be a child there? There may be only raising adopted children. So the society will be shrinking. And that is what is happening to the West, the Western world. They are facing now manpower, no, they are not giving birth to children. One of the contributors is LGBTQ. Are we heading to that place? If we will head to that place, we will perish the way they are perishing in population and in all ways.
Yes. And Sheikh, there's a place where you mentioned about it being a matter of life and death, especially now, wherever it has reached. Let's talk about not just, as you've mentioned, also Christianity is against this. It's reached a point whereby, as you've mentioned, uniting Kenyans. This means that now we need to be able to be vocal, but also join other religions when they are against this vice.
We have human rights who are right thinkers. We have other religions who want to retain their religion and not played around with. Muslims only are not the ones that way. The African traditionalists, especially the pastoralists, don't want to hear those things. Soon, if somebody has been told what happens, a man being married, a woman, he may even kill himself. Say, are we there? If you go to a Maasai there or a Samburu and tell them there is a man marrying today a woman, he will not even conceptualize. He may say, even I don't have to be in this world. I kill myself and live alone, because that is a distorted world. The judges, I wonder, were talking about human dignity. Is to abase yourself, to where people wear diapers, where a man cannot move like a normal man. Is that a human dignity? It is a decadence of human dignity. Even interpretation. I even wondered how these judges are thinking. They will have even, you know, jurisprudentially, you don't have to look from one side. If you are positivist, that is not the only way. There are many schools of theory of legal terms. Look into it. So you go to the Bill of Rights, chapter 4 of the Constitution. then you look it from its skeleton without tampering, and you are supposed to interpret all. You go to the family, 45, you go to youth, you go to this, and then you try to balance it. I even wondered their knowledge. I'm sorry to say they are learned and they are my friends. But I even sometimes it makes somebody shocked of how some jurists may think. What is the interest of these Kenyan? Are we supposed to give them a right? Those who are just coming and those who are actually bringing, if it will have been our right, if today as a Somali, I go back to my previous cultures and where, and bring my sword, I will be caught. Why? Because they don't want, they think I will kill with people. And these are the kind of things that, and I will be taken to court, being told that I am carrying harmful, dangerous. Nini, what is dangerous, more dangerous than spoiling the human dignity, the chest, the sexuality of human, which is a nature? What is more dangerous than that? So, according to what I am seeing, there is something else beyond that. And therefore, the Kenyans must rise on all the aspects. Go to the schools and find, because we are hearing that social education, there is something like that one being taught there. And the fathers and the mothers must go and see what kind of books are there to be taught. And we destroy those books. Yesterday I was reading an article from America by some of the parents in America saying that we are homeschooling our children. We will not take children to schools. Why? Because they are being taught LGBTQ. They are spoiling our children. This is America, where this thing is coming from. The fountain, the spring of this horrible ideology. So when the people in America are saying that way, afadhali tufundishe watoto wetu wakae kwa manyumba yetu, tununue buku tulete walimu, it will lead to that place. Let the national schools, the government schools, not attempt to take and buy these books. Let and go and find the syllabuses. Read as the parents. See what is in it. Because its poison is being taught to your child. Your child is being taught a poison. How to eat the poison. Are we going to allow? Are you going to allow those things? There is the book which is writing, if you take such and such a poison, it will be good to you, for you, and this one. The same thing is happening. They are corrupting the mind and poisoning the thinking, the world thought of our children. We have to stop them.
Sheikh, just to talk about now the Supreme Court's ruling, is there a way back? Is there a way that Kenyans can reverse the ruling of the Supreme Court to allow the LGBTQ plus movement groups to be registered in Kenya?
I don't think, but it is only the court to review. You know, this is the Supreme Court of and the precedence is very serious. It is a precedence, they have made it. But for the interest of the country, this thing can be reviewed. People can go for it. Hii mambo ya Kaluma na peleka bill and those things, I don't think whether it makes a lot of differences. What makes a difference is go back to the courts and Supreme Court. The interpretations they have given and the way, I even mentioned something on it by saying if they will have looked into a lot of things. You know what it means? This is deviance from natural law and they contribute to healthy values, prosperity. They have gone against all these things. Beside that, what they happened, what I have mentioned, what they have mentioned here, and then they said, I said if they will have thought much enough, they will have actually think that this is against our culture. So, what they are talking, the principles of human dignity, inclusiveness, equality, and human rights, and non-discrimination, they are saying we are denying them those things. But it is not. If we look into this one, we have to see who defines human right. You know, the question is who defines human right? Who defines dignity, human dignity? Who defines equality? Who defines non-discrimination? Is it a natural thing, that which is naturally inherent, or it is something defined by other people to us? Me, I may see discrimination if a robber is being cut his hand, by the way, in Islam, I see it is not discrimination. He has cost, he has to pay for it. And that is the natural meaning. If I see that somebody who kills must be killed, it is tit for tat, an eye for, it is in the Bible and in the Quran. Wewe unaenda kukalisha yeye you put him, that person, into a jail. Then you go and make him eat while the other one and his children are suffering. That is not justice. That is not human right.
You shed light on this on your research paper, and I love how you've said it's a very serious matter that you've mentioned. It's a life or death situation. And Sheikh, I am being reminded because of time is not on our side. For anyone who's been listening and would love to read about your research, where would they be able to get it?
The research actually was published on 12th September. It is me and a friend of mine. And I think it is in the internet. It was being published by International Journal of Research and Innovation in Social Sciences, IJ RISS. So they can get it from there. If others will also have connect me now, I send them through their WhatsApp or whatever it may be. So it's available. I have given even to many of them, like even Ali Khalid asked me a lot of things, Charo, and many of them asked me, and they have got it. So it is available through my phone or whatsoever. If you call me, I will avail it to you.
It's very nice that also being an Islamic scholar to actually go out, read more about this, write a research paper, and also share how it works as well, and quote the constitution of the country. Sheikh, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation, and inshallah it's a conversation that still continues, and it's something, as you've mentioned, that Muslims, not just Muslims, but the whole nation needs to come together and fight. Anything else you would love to add on before we go?
It is continuing. We have started these things with Backroad Mosque. Yesterday we were on Zoom. Today we will be at Masjid Al-Amin. That is where we are going to give the lecture. We will be continuing from our side, from intellectual perspectives, because I have handled this thing. This is now a sociology document. And I have also mentioned now, since sociology, religion is part of the foundations of social institutions, there are 11 chapters of the Quran that has mentioned this issue, which is abomination, all of them negativity. So that is from a Muslim perspective, I will say. What I am going to say is, we have to be alert on alert. We should not be sleeping. And this thing, the fight is very, very heavy, because it started for 1990s, when we were not even aware about it. And it was being done under the carpet. Now, when they have reached where they're supposed to reach, and they have enough military, they have started now coming out. And that is how policies are being done, which are against the communities. So it is we now, how are we going to approach it? And the approach will not be only from religious perspective. It should be from cultural perspective, traditional perspective, and it should be from various perspectives. It's the Christian, we have religion, and then we have education perspective. We have to tackle it. If you're just silent and these people are coming with a lot of education and with a lot of hypothesis and law, so the people who are professional must combat it. The culturists must combat it. The Christians must combat it. Muslims must combat it. When we fight from different fronts is when we'll be making them to stop where they are. And we expect the politicians. The problem up to now, there is no Muslim politician who is moving out. And they coming out and saying this is not right. To the extent that Kaluma is the one who is rushing alone. Besides being a lawman, he's also a politician. So what we are saying, join and go. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us here. And for anyone who's listening, as Sheikh has mentioned, it's a time that we all have to come together and be very vocal against this vice. The conversation still continues. If you would love to also get the research paper, feel free to message us on our social media platforms and our WhatsApp number, and we'll be able to assist you with the research paper. Once again, thank you so much for staying with us here on Horizon TV. Until next Friday, ma'as salam.